Hello, welcome to this. What are we at? Is it 32 days of 100 days of manifestation now? I'm thrilled to have you here today. Welcome. If you're joining me live, why don't you go ahead and say hello in the comments? I always love to say hi to you all, to connect with you all, to see, where you're at, where you're from. And if you're joining us live, you'll also see that my cat Bonnie is here with us as well. I couldn't get her out of the room, so she may join us for this conversation. So today I wanted to talk to you all about scarcity mindset. Now, it's Monday, and on a Monday, I like to do a little bit more of a deep dive into this week's topic. So, I'm going to be talking to you about 5 steps that you can use in order to transform scarcity thinking, scarcity mindset into prosperity consciousness. So, these are really practical steps that will help you to get out of that stuck place that you might feel where you might be thinking, there's just not enough. I don't feel like there's going to be enough, anything like that at all. Okay, so what is scarcity thinking? You would think that it comes from not having enough money in the bank, not having enough work, not having enough clients, not having enough of whatever it is that you perceive is lacking in your life right now. But actually, that feeling comes from within you. Now, I don't want to gaslight you here at all, okay? Because there's people in different situations right now, and there will be in the future. We all go through fluctuations in life and with our money and our wealth relationship, right? But what would one person would consider not enough would be very, very different to another person. I have seen people go into scarcity mindset at all different levels. It doesn't actually matter how much money you've got in your bank account, whether you're at minus 200, whether you're at minus 20,000, whether you're at 2,000, whether you're at 50,000 positive, it really doesn't matter how much money you've got in your account. Scarcity thinking can actually get us at any level. And scarcity mindset does not help us on our manifestation journey. It's not necessarily like a complete blocker unless we really go into it and go right down the rabbit hole of scarcity thinking. So I don't want you to think like, oh, I've sabotaged everything. Nothing's going to work now because I've been, in this mindset. What we want to do is practice being more and more in a prosperity consciousness the majority of the time. So if a lot of the time it feels like there's not enough, there's not going to be enough, if you've kind of been in that mindset, I want you to think of it a little bit like expanding your prosperity consciousness over time and crowding that scarcity mindset out. That is the work that we are doing here. We are trying to live more and more in the world of potential and possibility around the prosperity consciousness. And that is the place that's going to activate the law of attraction in a really effective way. And it's going to allow you to take that aligned action, which is going to help you to receive the very thing that you're wanting to manifest. Okay, so like I said, money, it really doesn't matter. I can tell you a little bit of a story about this actually. At the end of my maternity leave, and I had a chunk of money saved up. So I used that in my maternity leave. I actually needed longer than I expected. I planned to transition back to work earlier, but I actually had preeclampsia in pregnancy. And so, the birth was quite difficult, and my recovery was, a lot longer than I would have expected had everything not gone that way, I think. So not that I have experience in that world, but I actually took a longer break than I had originally planned and intended to. And that was a really good thing. Anyway, what happened towards the end of my maternity leave, I met up with someone, and we were going for a walk, and I was walking around the park with my baby, and we were chatting together, and she'd been through some very difficult times and had inherited some money, and it was really funny, our conversation. I just saw the contrast so much, being aware of where I was at with money and being aware of where she was at with money, and also the potential for scarcity thinking. It was so interesting to see this conversation play out, because here I was, and my savings had been going down, and I was like, I think it's getting to the stage where I'm a little bit uncomfortable. I want to see more money coming in. So I was thinking about going back to work, and I was like, right, what could I do? I could do more coaching. I could do some more kinesiology. I can go and do a little bit of consulting. These are some of my income streams that I've had before. And then I was thinking, but I don't know how. I don't know how to have a tiny baby and to start doing some work again. And I couldn't find the right childcare option for me. So I was stuck in this place of like actually thinking I'm running out of money. Maybe I've got like comfortably, a good few months in the bank, but I want to see more there. Right. And then it was really funny because her conversation was all about having inherited this wealth and she wasn't sure where to invest the money. And she was terrified of losing it. And so she was just paralyzed. She didn't know what to do. She was in a lot of anxiety and stress around that. And I was like, wow, I'm sitting here talking about going back to work because I need to see our day-to-day kind of being provided for here. And then she's at a completely different level. And yet we're both thinking along the lines of it doesn't feel like there's enough and it might all go. So there was some kind of form of scarcity thinking from both angles. And it was just this conversation that really highlighted to me like, wow, it really doesn't matter how much money you've got in the bank. It really doesn't matter how many clients you have. It really doesn't matter what level you're at with your business. It's not uncommon for it to feel like there's not enough right now, there's not going to be enough in the future, and there can be hesitation, especially if you're in the situation where you have some money or you have a certain level in your business about what to do next because there's fear around losing it because it could just go, there's not enough, right? It's this whole story. So can you relate to that? Let me know in the comments if you can relate to that. And if you're catching up on the podcast, I would love to hear in the reviews section. Leave me a review. Let me know what your thoughts are. Does this scarcity thinking come up for you? How does it come up for you? And what have you noticed in your life? I just think it's really interesting how it comes up in so many different areas and in so many different ways. So it's really not just about, oh my God, I'm running out of money. How am I going to pay the bills? It actually is, it comes up in all sorts of ways. So this is what it's all about. It's all about our perception, as I say. And it really doesn't matter, like, the money that you've got in your purse. I mean, that's just plastic or paper, depending on where you live. It's like bits of metal with the coins. And we are the ones that give all of that value. The money in your bank account, it's just pixels on a screen. It's digits, it's digits that you see on your bank statement if you get that posted through the mail. And so we see these things and we think, that's a good amount of money. That's not a good amount of money. I feel abundant. I feel supported. I feel secure. We think it comes from the money. And yes, to a degree, like you could say, yeah, it allows you a certain amount of freedom, but it's all about our perception of the money. That's why someone can have 10K in the bank and still think, oh my God, I'm running out of money. This might not last me very long. There's not enough. And another person could think, wow, 10,000 in the bank. That would just be my dream come true. I would feel so abundant and so amazing. Do you see what I mean? The number is not really indicative of the level of scarcity that you'll be feeling. It is all about your perception, it's all about your thoughts. What we want to be doing in terms of transforming your scarcity mindset into prosperity consciousness then is to really be looking at your perception of the situation and taking some practical steps to change that perception. Because when we think in a different way and we feel in a different way, we get to a different vibration, a different frequency, then we connect on an energetic level and the universe can actually activate and start to bring the thing to us. So scarcity mindset is not going to be the thing that gets you to the place of abundance, or it's certainly going to slow you down. If you go for periods into a scarce mindset, it's going to slow it down. So what we want to do is get really, really good at pivoting back over into prosperity consciousness. So I want to talk to you about 5 different ways that you can do really practical things that are going to help you to get into prosperity consciousness. And this is an episode that you can come back to again and again and again. Whenever scarcity rears its head, whenever you have that feeling, that sinking feeling, there's not enough coming in, there's not enough clients, there's not enough money, this isn't going to last, how am I going to pay this bill? Any of that, I want you to come here to this episode, take these steps and start activating that prosperity consciousness. Okay, so the first one is very practical. I want you to go on a treasure hunt. I want you to go all through your house, all through your car, all through anywhere else that you think you may have left stuff of value. I want you to be looking for the coins down the back of the sofa, looking for the notes that you may have left in a pocket. I found actually once £100 in my passport, the slip in my passport that I'd completely forgotten about. I'd taken it on holiday as a bit of a backup, my backup cash one time. And I was like, whoa, how did I forget about that? You know, and it's not uncommon that, I've found notes in jacket pockets and things that I've hung back up in the wardrobe before, completely forgot about them. So go into any place in the house, any place in the car where you can think you might have some spare cash lying around. And I want you to collect that all up and tally it all up. It's all value, it's all money that was lying around that you did not even realize. The universe has money around you right at this very moment. So go on a hunt and find it. Now, you don't actually have to just focus on cash as well, because during your treasure hunt, you can also look for relevant discounts. I'm not saying, oh, go and spend lots of money just because you've got a discount code, but if it's something that you always buy, like maybe you've got discounts for we get discounts for actually a physiotherapy clinic that's local to here. So sometimes if I need a treatment for my hip, I'll be like, oh yeah, I could use a discount code. Go and have a look for any vouchers that you've got, maybe for your supermarket, things that you always buy. Are there any other kind of outlets where you often go to that you've got discounts and vouchers lying around? Go and collect them up. And I want you to tally up the ones that are relevant, the ones that you'll probably need at some point and you'll spend anyway. Tally up the value and see, add that to your total. Now you found some cash and you found some value. Maybe you'll also find as well, this is something that I tend to do. I've got a health cash plan and I always forget to actually cash in when I've spent money. So actually to get my reimbursements back. So, are there any insurance claims lying around that you can, you find receipts for things? Go through your email as well. Have you got any vouchers on your email? Have you got any receipts on your email that you need to actually expense? Maybe also if you're doing business expenses, have you drawn all of your business expenses? Go and hunt out those little bits and pieces that you might have spent over time that you need to draw from your own business, or maybe you claim against a company, whatever it is. Find those little bits and pieces. Are there any other ways that there might be value lying around the house for you? Maybe have a think about that. Maybe I haven't actually gone over all the various different options: insurance claims, vouchers, cash lying around, things in your email, receipts that you can claim back, all that kind of stuff. Go and find it all. And also maybe you need to claim refunds for things, actually. That's another one. Are there any returns that you need to do that are lying around the house that you haven't quite got around to? Box them up, return them, get the money back. Are there things that you spent money on? There might be like a 14-day trial period that you need to kind of go back and cancel and get a refund on something. Anything you've bought recently that that you're not going to use and it's the right thing to send it back and it's still within the period that you can do that, go ahead and go and get your refunds. So you are now demonstrating to the universe that you're seeing all the ways that there is money there. You're finding all of the abundance that's around you right now. And I want you to total it all up, whatever you find, just to show you to yourself, to demonstrate to yourself, there is abundance all around me. And you're really affirming that when you do that. Okay, so once you have done your treasure hunt, have a think. What can I give? So if you can, you might want to think about, can I give a tip? Can I leave a little bit of extra change when I buy a coffee? When I have a meal out, do I want to leave, $5, $10, £20, whatever currency you're working in? Is there any tipping that you can do? Is there any gifting that you can do in another capacity? Maybe it's not a monetary capacity. When we come from a place of giving, we are actually, really demonstrating to the universe that we're not just in a place where it's scarce and we're hanging on to everything with dear life. Actually, we trust the process and we give freely. We give that value. And on an energetic level, there is an exchange. So you give on an energetic level, even if it's your time, even if it's your knowledge, whatever it might be that you are giving. And then the law of attraction says that there's got to be that kind of energy that comes back to you. It's an energy flow, it's an energy exchange that goes on. So you might give a tip, but you know that that's going to come back to you at some point. You might give a homeless person lunch. You know that that's going to come back to you at some point. You might give someone that you know a free session, sharing your knowledge, knowing that that is all going to come back to you at some point. These are ways that you can give. And you know what? If you run a business and you tend to post on social media or you do anything like that, you could also see that as giving as well. Could you write a post that actually gives huge amounts of value, that shares lots and lots of your knowledge, and you know that that's actually going to really help the people that follow you, the people in your community. You know that's going to be transformational for the right person at the right time. So give freely and watch how it starts to come back to you. Okay, so that's number two. The first was the treasure hunt, find your abundance. The second was give what you can. Okay, so the next one is clearing up your money leaks. Have a look at where you've got energetic money leaks going on. So I love to just go into my bank account sometimes and just have a look at what's been coming out recently. And I'm starting to get better and better at that, actually. I'm trying to make that much more of a daily habit. It's one of the things I'm trying to cultivate a lot more, is to be for that to be a daily thing. But I used to go in, kind of weekly and just review what's been going on anyway. And if there's anything that you know that you no longer use, that you don't need anymore, that maybe a transaction's come out and it shouldn't have, go and clean that up. Maybe you need to question transactions with your bank. Maybe you need to go and cancel a subscription that you don't use anymore. Um, maybe maybe I don't know, there might be other money that has come out that you think, actually, I need to get a refund on that, or I just need to cancel that so it doesn't happen again. Maybe you don't have any way of getting a refund, but at least you've stopped that money leak and it's not going to happen again in the future. So go and stop up your money leaks that are happening in your bank account. And by the way, I also love to have a look at, I don't know if this is the same for you in your country, but other ways that sneaky kind of repetitive monthly transactions can come in. I found it through PayPal. I often forget about my PayPal, especially the annual ones. Sometimes the annual ones come out. Also, going into my phone, I have Apple subscription as well. So if you go into your Apple and have a look at like the apps that are going to renew, are there any that you signed up for that you were doing a trial and maybe you need to cancel before it comes out again because you don't really want it? Maybe Google Play might have the same if you're on an Android phone. So go and have a look at these sneaky ways that these can come in. I've also found as well that on my phone, there was one, and I didn't even know, because if my phone bill is kind of around the same every month, I don't really look at my phone bill and go in and think, "Oh, what have I been doing, like with text messages and things this month?" Because it's always the same. And I found a sneaky transaction on there, and I was like, how did I subscribe to that through my phone? I don't even remember doing that, but I must have, because I know that I had this thing. I can't even remember what it was now, because it was probably about 18 months ago and I cancelled it. But there's all these sneaky ways that we can be paying that may not be as visible because it's not coming out on our bank transactions. It's not on our statement. So find all the other ways that you may also be paying money. And you may have other payment providers. If you're in a different country and you use different payment providers outside of PayPal, you might have other recurring subscriptions. So go and clean all of that up. Have a look in there and see what's in there for you to clean up. And then from the other side of things, are there any things for you to clean up from your bills point of view? Maybe there's been a failed payment. You know what? I've got one this week that I've got to sort out, and I've been thinking, oh, I've really got to do that. I've got to log in, but my card details changed, and I've had a couple of emails like, we couldn't take your monthly subscription, and I was like, oh yeah, gosh, I've got to go and update those card details. Just haven't got around to it, So it's those types of things that it can just be a little bit of a money leak, So go and clean anything up that you need to clean up. Maybe you've got an overdue bill that you really need to pay. That the energy of things being overdue and you not having taken care of that can really weigh you down. It can often lead to some anxiety and just a heavy feeling around money. And we don't want that. We want to feel light. We want to feel abundant. We want to feel free and joyful around money. So if you need to, go and clean it up. If you have the money, go and pay it. If you need to, go and contact the person and make an arrangement with them. Maybe if you've got credit cards and you haven't been looking at your credit card statements recently, go and have a look at your credit card statements. And that's, by the way, another sneaky place. Are there any monthly transactions coming out of your credit card that you haven't been looking at recently? Go and clean any of that up. And if you have been not paying attention to your debt and not coming up with a plan, your money leaks might also actually look like, right, I want to sit down and I want to work out, like, what's my highest interest rate? Which one am I going to pay off first? What's my plan? Do I just set up a direct debit every month with, a certain amount of money? So just making that all nice and tidy is going to really clean up all of your money leaks, and you're going to feel so much better once you've done that. Honestly, if you've been burying your head in the sand around money, I really get it, because I've done that in the past a lot before. I have 100% been there, and I did not want to look at what was going on in my bank account. I used to even just throw credit card statements straight in the bin. I can't, I'm wanting to get a mortgage at some point in the near future. So I can't do that anymore. The thought of doing that, now I value my credit score so much. I'm like, I can't do that. I literally can't. But I know I was in that place. So if you're there at the moment, take a step out of your comfort zone and go and have a look at your bank account, go and have a look at your credit cards, see what is going on in there. Okay, so once you've taken those 3 steps, the next one is to really practice prosperous thinking. So when you're thinking, when you have that feeling, that sinking feeling coming up, like there's not enough, there won't be enough, and there's that, maybe there's anxiety, maybe there's frustration, maybe there's sadness, maybe there's anger, any of those feelings that you associate with there is not enough, I want you to switch over to prosperity consciousness in that moment. And that is usually through the practice of gratitude. That is probably your biggest key here to switching into a prosperity consciousness. So maybe at that point, you start looking for things that you can be grateful for, the things that you have right now, preferably. So it might be, I am so grateful to pay the heating bill every month. I am so grateful for the electricity that has me, having the lights on every night. I am so grateful for clean running water. I am so grateful for hot water that I get to have a bath in or a shower in. I am so grateful for XYZ. Think of anything that you want to, that you can give gratitude for, and start spending as much time as you can noticing all of the abundance around you, the things that you already have, the things that have come your way. Give some gratitude for all that money and the value that you found in your treasure hunt from step 1 as well. Do that, really focus on that. And you can also focus on the abundance in nature as well. Um, you know, being in wonder at the amount of sunlight, being in wonder about the amount of rain and the water that is coming, that is, feeding all of the plant life and all of the animals. There's so much abundance to be seen in nature. When you look at the amount of, bits of soil there are, like when you look in the garden, it's like you could never count the amount of soil, like the individual particles of soil, the individual bits of sand on the beach. Do you know what I mean? There is abundance everywhere in nature. So really notice how much abundance is around you when you're trying to switch out of that mindset, because worrying about the money, worrying about how much is coming in, when it's coming in, what's coming in, is not the mindset that's going to get you to the next place. It is seeing that abundance, being in an abundant state of mind, and trusting and knowing, well, there's abundance in nature. I'm part of nature. There must be abundance to have my needs met as well. So keep on switching over to that mindset and do whatever you need to do to stay in that mindset. You can do a bit of tapping if you want to. We'll probably do some tapping on this topic tomorrow, actually, because on Tuesdays we always do tapping. So, do whatever you do to stay in that mindset. And as I said at the start, what we want to do is start to crowd out the scarcity. So even if you spent a lot of time in some form of scarcity mindset, we want to crowd it out over time and make it smaller and smaller and smaller, and grow your prosperity consciousness. And you do that through gratitude. You do that through noticing all of the abundance, giving thanks for what's come your way already. And as stuff keeps coming to you, say thank you, be grateful, be tracking it, be acknowledging it. Which brings me to the final point, point number 5, take aligned action. Go out now and do something. What is it that is going to take you one step closer to whatever your goal is? Maybe you're thinking, there's a lack of clients for me right now. What is one thing that you can do that will help the universe to see that you're serious about this and to meet you halfway and help the universe to actually allow you to receive what you intend to manifest? So if you're running a business and if you're thinking, right, I would love to see, new clients or whatever, and there's not enough of them, then go and do that one thing. Send the email, do a social media post, record a podcast, put a YouTube video out, go to a networking event, send an email to an old client. Whatever you can do that, you can think of that will be aligned action. So I hope that's been helpful for you. Those are the 5 steps to help you switch into a prosperity consciousness. And literally, it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat whenever the scarcity mindset comes up, because it will come up sometimes. Let's be real here. Your circumstances will change, things will fluctuate over time. And it will rear its head every now and then. And so you can come back to these 5 steps and take yourself through them. I'm just going to recap for you as well, just to finish off here. So number 1 was the treasure hunt. Find the abundance you've already got. Number 2 was give whatever you can, whether it's time, knowledge, money, anything that you can to give before you receive. Clear up your money leaks. Have a look at your bank account. Have a look at any other places where money may be coming out of. Cancel any subscriptions, get your refunds, and then also clean up also the money that you need to pay others. So any areas where you need to make payment arrangements, where you need to get up to date, pay a bill, whatever it is, get on top of all of those money leaks. Practice your prosperous thinking, switching over into gratitude, noticing the abundance all around you, giving thanks for what's coming your way, knowing that there's more coming. Keep repeating, keep being in that place and growing your prosperity consciousness, and then take that aligned action. Take one step every day that you can think of that's going to bring this thing to you, and the universe will then magnetize. Who knows how it's going to come to you, but you need to take that first step in order to help the universe to meet you halfway. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow with our tapping and tap along Tuesday on this topic. So I'll see you then. Bye.